One of the big frustrations for players with even a little bit of experience is making smooth transitions between chords. So let's start to look at some of the ways that we can smooth out those transitions and play in time and play cleanly in time. Well, in my experience, the challenge is as much a mental one as a physical one. You already know you can finger those chords. You just have to start to wrap your head around the fact that another change is coming and that you're going to need to nail it in time. So the first thing that we can do is think ahead. We want to feel where that next change is going to come up and make sure that we hit it in time. If you're thinking a measure or two ahead, you won't have to rejigger your fingers and fumble at the last moment. So number one is to visualize and think ahead. Number two is economy of motion. And what that's about is just this concept that you don't have to start fresh with fingering every chord. If we're going, for instance, from a C chord to an A minor, well, when you were first starting playing, maybe you looked and carefully placed each finger on the fretboard. But once you're strumming, and once you're starting to play in a rhythm, you recognize that it's really just a one-finger difference. You can look at the grids for a number of chords that have these very small changes. Another one, for instance, is from C to F. Nearly every finger makes a change, but we're really just kind of shifting this bottom shape up a string, laying this over. We don't have to go start all over, right? From this C to this F. Another way is to look at the shapes of chords. This A minor shape is identical to this E shape. I'm just moving that down a string. The same thing happens that we're describing here in open chords, happens in bar chords. There's a one-finger difference between a G major and a G minor. There's another one-finger difference between G major and G7. Even up here, when we're playing a C chord here, we can get to a C7 by lifting one. So look for those small changes that you can make to transition between chords and recognize that you don't have to start from scratch for every chord. It won't happen all the time, even just from a C to a G. You do have to move every finger, but employ economy of motion where you can. And the last thing is kind of one of my favorite guitar cheats, if only because it's so unique to guitar playing. I've gotten in the habit of kind of calling it the zero chord. You'll find that a lot of times guitarists strumming, especially down in open position, will just strum nothing, right? They'll strum open between changes. So you'll get a feel kind of like this. It doesn't necessarily make sound theoretical sense, but for guitarists, you just have this moment. It's like saying when you're talking. This pause between where you can get away with strumming an open chord. There's no good reason why E minor 11 should work between an A minor and a C, but it does. So realize that that's one of the cheats, right? Is that you can pause for a second with an open chord. So those are a few of the things to think about as you start managing your chord transitions and trying to smooth out the way that you play chord progressions.